All right, baddies and badettes, welcome back to the Swain Baddie League. I'm Agent F0. I am here with the one, the only, the hooker himself. Hook Cal resets here to bring you guys the final game of the 2022 SBL regular season between the team that shall not be named and the Power Tops. Cal, how you doing?
Good, all right. Just excited to cast some more League of Legends. It's always a good time.
Yeah, man.
A bit.
Power Tops, it looks like today was their day where they're like, hey, we're going to just fucking return to Monkey. And the game they played against you guys, maybe not fun to play in, but very it was very entertaining for the viewers. So I'm hoping they gift us another one here. Our big storyline, it's really Power Tops have not lost to any team besides non-fungible Teemo, and they've kept that streak going today. So I'm curious to see, will they close out the season 4-2, but second seed by tiebreaker, or I don't know. That could happen. I mean, we could be barreling towards the 1 seed picking the 2 seed again. But we probably shouldn't go there. We probably shouldn't go there because I could already feel Table for 4 losing their bans in the chat. But in the draft here, we got some pretty standard bans, and it's going to be Vel'Koz. Oh, no, not standard bans. I'm sorry. One major glaring non-ban, and that's Vel'Koz, and that is going to be the only thing that could ever force Blab not to take a last pick.
Honestly, it's still surprising. Even when I've played with him or when I've seen him, he sometimes just won't pick it early. But this time, he for sure wants it. His Asandra is banned. That's going to be definitely number 1. I'm curious to know if Blab actually is considering Asandra as his best mid laner right now. That's obviously what Power Tops is thinking. So
yeah, and I mean, you just saw in the last game, my team attacked it as well. We picked it before he had a chance to. I think he looked really good on that last week. But the Vel'Koz he's got once, and it is the only game my team has lost that didn't. Or was that the same game that we played Top Jinx? It might have been. Well, we lost to this Vel'Koz and it fucking wrecked us. That's what I'm getting at here, folks. But we have some major power picks coming through in this draft. Dario gets picks up Trundle, presumably going to Thunder in the top lane, but I imagine that could be a flex as Trundle's becoming the SBL jungler of the season. Wang gets his cracked ass Nocturne. And by the way, we've got, in case you didn't notice, folks, Tizzy226 is in the building. Tank X sitting on the sideline as they go up against Power Tops. This is the only matchup this season that Tizzy had played back in week 1. And it looks like WAB is staying consistent that Tizzy plays versus this team, and they are presumably putting Bestless 1 in the top lane.
And the Zyra definitely going to be the pick here for Tree. Something to also know, Just Dan is not in the lineup. So this means that we could actually see... I've been looking at some match histories before the games, just seeing for that, and Daria Chapman did play some AD carry. I don't know if they would send Darkin jungle or what would be there. I think right now it's Phoenix mid and Darkin or Brandon is going to be ADC.
I'm really excited to see too. We were Wang had scouted this out, and he was telling me about it during game 1. We were actually watching the whole draft, expecting Brandon to go till pretty late in the draft, and then Dario did end up sticking with the jungle, but I think this is a good decision here to try the lineup without Dan. Dan's had some struggles this season. He's made it on to Baddie Breakdown a few times, and you know you're getting ready for your best of 5. At some point, you gotta try something else out, especially with that 1 seed now out of reach.
And this is definitely the very perfect time. That's what our team was thinking. This game doesn't necessarily matter all that much, but it matters a lot for confidence. That's the big thing for these guys. If they can like come into this 2-0 on their last week, they're just like, oh, we're ready for playoffs. We're about to throw down, and these final bans.
It's a lot of bot lane bans.
Yeah, the Jhin Malphite ban, trying to keep a Malphite away from the Dario as Malphite, SBL Malphite, but in the jungle can be pretty annoying. Is a Jinx picked for question mark?
Yeah,
right
Jinx
now?
is picked for Power Tops. That's what we know. Probably going to the bot lane, but we've seen her elsewhere in the SBL. I mean, if Dario just like ran into the jungle as Jinx, would you be like shocked?
If he played jungle Jinx, would I be there? I'd still be shocked. I cannot.
Yeah.
Like,
okay. Yeah.
He'll play bruisers. There's no freaking way he plays Jinx jungle. We've seen Jinx top. That should never have happened, in my opinion. So,
Hey, we played that game really well. And, oh yeah, that is the Vel'Koz game because Vel'Koz ult was crashing in the stream, so no one actually got to see that game. It was actually an incredibly competitive game. Bad games from both Thrifty and Master Splinter. That made it so the 280 carries couldn't happen. It's gonna be Ashe, Jace coming through. So very that is not your tank axe. That is the best this one. Picking Jace in the top lane. Gonna try to bully.
Jace right now actually has the highest pick rate and is supposedly the top laner for this team. But I think Bestis was actually expecting a Trundle top. They're going to be playing Thomas against it, which I feel like Jace should still win, but
it's probably a very different. Yeah, it's probably a bit more volatile if something goes wrong. And maybe that's a flex out of the Trundle for power tops. Maybe I think both of these players can play it. We've seen Thunder play it before pretty successfully, so I like that potentially as a hey. This matchup kind of sucks. Like, let's swap roles here.
Yeah, for sure. I imagine Trundle would have a much worse time into the Jace than perhaps the Thomas. If I'm looking at the Thomas toughest matchups, I don't see him on there, so it's above 50% supposedly. We'll have to see how they end up playing it. With this, the Ashe also picked Forest Squect, meaning that I like the Ashe pick, especially in Desira. It's very much so. It's going to give them a little bit more engage with which their team slightly lacks. With that Nocturne, you just Ashe ulti one person, Nocturne's on them. It's just the easiest thing.
If somebody gets hit with that Ashe ult, I mean, they just die, right? You're going to take a Jace EQ. You're going to take Vel'Koz however much you want. You're going to take a Nocturne ult. And we'll see here. I guess the only real thing is there's not an obvious like follow-up ult target. You know, maybe you wait for Wang to go in and you ult somebody that's feared. But sometimes you see Ashes like me that like to wait for somebody else to land the move and then just arrow the person that's already CC'd to keep them CC'd for 5 seconds.
Yeah, in a sense, actually, this Thomas pick last kind of nuts. If he's like sticking with the team 5-on-5, that is no longer an option. Thomas just eats that person. They're fine. All of the blue sides, they're whatever their team is. WAB's like engage is just gone. If Nocturne just ults one person, gets Thomas eaten, engage gone, and then suddenly Nocturne's got a position. So in a sense, I actually really like that pick. At least for team fights. But in terms of
it's time to commit. I have a rule that I've broken twice today to not talk about the actual game being played during the 3-minute spectator delay.
Okay.
So we're gonna talk about Cal. I'm pitching an idea to you.
All right.
Do you know how RuneScape eventually branched off and made RuneScape Classic?
Yes.
And they like just rolled back to an older version of the game, and then they patched that game in a different direction from where they took the real game. Yeah. So here's the idea: League of Legends Classic. We just roll the game back to 2014, delete all the champions that came out after that, all the reworks, all the shitty, bad decisions they've made, and they just start working on that game again. And it's so much better than League of Legends Live. No more mobility creep, no more utility creep. Our masteries are just a few points of our stats again. I think, Riot, I will sell you this idea. I have an NFT minted already. I will part with it as a deal out of love for this game, but more love for what this game was in 2014. I think it's a home run.
I've complained for so long about the new champions, like specifically non-supports, because I'm a support player.
You know what happens in SBL Classic? We're not talking about fucking Thomas Kench, okay? Right, that motherfucking frog, they're not bringing him back.
Yeah. The crazy thing about that would be like, I don't know, imagine the world without all the 80 carries. There'd just be like, it would just become freaking Ashe Sivir every game.
That's fine. They can make some new ones. All they have to do is right-click people. Give them an attacks they run, you know?
Yeah.
None of this.
Do you think that they'd be able to like be inventive without like instantly putting a freaking Gwen into the game? Though, like I'd find it hard pressed to not think that.
Listen, this exercise is a lot more fun if I have faith. Okay.
Okay, fair enough. We gotta have faith in Riot. Agreed. All champions are perfectly balanced. No new champions are overtuned. They said it themselves. None of their new champions have overloaded kits, so I think I think we're ready for it. I'm very done.
I'm super excited. SBL Classic, like we're gonna whatever it takes to start a season right then and there.
Can you just rename it to like SBL Classic Season 1? Just none of the other SBLs happened, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh my god, dude, this is taking it right back to the best timeline.
Yeah.
And we might be bugged in game.
I'm not gonna lie. I did see Wayne disconnected from TeamSpeak for like 10 seconds, so maybe that has something to do with it.
Oh, did he just disconnect again?
I don't know.
Yeah,
He's
I
back
don't.
in. At least TeamSpeak.
Wait, is he on TeamSpeak?
He is in TeamSpeak.
Where is he?
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, there he is.
Yeah.
Wonder. Yeah, he. I think we might have to reload spectate. We had this happen before. Exit out and reload because I've been fucked by this exact same situation.
Yeah.
Ooh, I got a gift from Devout Milk. You know. This game. Shop man.
Reloaded.
Yeah, we can sync up once we get back into game.
Yeah, for sure. Are we just gonna like spam plus? Or
We could just find a time nice and early and pause at it, and then don't have to worry about stuttering ever. Hey, the timer is moving in the game. Oh, dude, I know why I played so bad last game. I forgot to make my minimap big again. Hey, Alexa, remind me to expand my minimap again. Go. Nito Mosquito Boys, we are in. Let me know when you're in.
I'm in.
Alright, what are you at time-wise?
10 seconds.
Okay, I'm at 21.
Okay, I'll skip forwards.
So you can just count me up.
I'm at 21. I'm good.
Alright, on pause, 22, 23, 24. We sync this.
Yep.
Welcome to Summoner's Rift.
Baddies and badads, welcome back to the SBL. There, we do see the rundown mid, and we'll see, can they catch Darkin? Do you know about this invade? I'm like too scared to even finish rearranging these scoreboards. There's not a super obvious hard CC move here. They might just be waiting to see if somebody greeds and steps forward. If Dario tries to step up, but it's gonna be slows coming out of the Ash. I think that's it. Okay, so it's a nice poke down onto this Darkin on the Jinx. As they're actually moving forward. And Darkin trying to make it out. Resquek gonna go for the flash auto in the tower and gets first blood. And they get double sums out of Darkin. That is that win. And why can I not control shift? Oh, control shift Z. I'm an idiot. There we go.
The biggest part about that invade, no one was sitting mid at the beginning, so they just got to walk freely in. At the start there, both Tree and Dario Chapman were just chilling their blue side, like near the blue buff, and just they got punished for it.
And this is an invade my team calls out a lot. And I just bring this to your practice games. If you're playing with 5-stack, this is how you abuse teams that just don't know about a gap that exists. So many people don't check that invade, and then you're playing a need to react situation without a lot of time to react there in that that river bush. And that's why a lot of people, like, if you have 5, you need to, if you're just doing a full spread, you want to make sure you cover that mid. It's like the safest invade in the world, because so many teams don't cover it. And you know what? If there was a team I was going to take the safest invade in the world that only teams with bad macro fall susceptible to, I would probably do it against power tops.
Yeah, completely agreed. It's pretty strong on here, and it gives them a kill on Resquek, who definitely, it's exactly who they want to be. Everyone else got assists. They did blow 2 flashes, so we have to see if maybe they can do something to punish that, but...
Yeah, we'll see. Dario did start bot side, so I mean, he is pathing away from Resquek here, so I don't know if we're going to see any kind of Giga early gank in the bot lane. I think Resquek is going to just get some snowball rolling here.
Yeah.
Darkin has a rough welcome to the bot lane.
For sure is. He does have a Zyra alongside him, which can help a little bit with the poke, but Maokai only pretty good sustain as long as they don't get punished enough to like walk up and just hit the minions. We'll have to see how they play it for sure.
Yeah, I'm curious. Tizzy, it can be rough sometimes when she's supporting. But in the top lane, we do have Dario coming up for his first gank of the game here. It's going to be a flash forced out of Dario Chapman and a beautiful pillar there. There's going to be a lot of damage. I think the Chase is going to die here. They're going to not even have to dive the tower. Thunder Cunt is on the board.
really great setup. Estes does not flash the initial W, and honestly, very smart of Dario to hold that pillar. You always want to hold it until you know they don't have flash to trap them as well as you can. They did it great.
And now here we go. Tizzy going in. They're going to get some nice damage to stick on a tree, but Respect does step onto the chompers. Just the Jinx that's still full health here.
Early ignite to try to force them off, make them a little bit more scared too, so gonna give some more breathing room to this bot lane.
I'm curious, the Tizzy does have her ignites available, so in Zyra, we just saw it in game 1 earlier night, which Tree just pops like a sad balloon a lot in that game.
Yeah, but at the same time, Zyra's like, the damage she can put out in like a second, especially with her ulti, will make it so that doesn't nearly matter as much. As long as she gets a 1v1, that's worth. So we'll have to see. Generally, I would expect until Tizzy has flash, it's going to be a little bit awkward for the bot side. Respect actually hasn't gone to back yet with that extra gold. So even though he's 400 gold up, it's not really mattering.
Yeah, and I think he's kind of just playing this to farm this out right now. He's not trying, he doesn't want to take any risks here because he knows he's going to have the advantage once he does back.
Yeah.
There's no point to throw that lead before you've even, like, capitalized on it.
Obviously, the big thing for their team is going to be that level 6 mark with the level 6s from Nocturne, from Ashe. It's what you're going to be waiting for. We might be waiting, have a little bit more of a snooze fest for a couple minutes.
This is it's a lot less monkey than Power Top's game earlier, so far.
Nice. He's trying to get some more poke out, but Thunder does still have the TP, so he's not really worried too much about that.
See, a lot of bodies ended up in this river down below, but didn't really turn into anything.
I think that Power Tops actually did a pretty good job warding their
Oh,
bot
Blab
side.
though, he's gonna pull the trigger. He's gonna force a barrier out of Phoenix Blaze. Love the aggression there on the Vel'Koz.
Yeah. Like we stated before, his most comfortable champion, definitely his most played, and that's exactly what you need to see. Phoenix doesn't have TP, so Dario's gonna have to cover him, cover that lane, and maybe even try for a little bit more. He doesn't really get to reach him.
Thunder, dude, I still get baited every time Tom does the jump, and I'm like, oh, he's ulting. Oh, wait.
Yeah. The real weird ability is Tom can get CC'd out of it before he goes, but it's honestly, you don't even think about it because if you haven't played against Tom that much, it's just really awkward. He's gonna go in again, but Jace a little bit too fast. I believe when he swaps forms, he might gain some movement speed too.
Gank is here though for a clean gank attempt, but there is not a lot of health on that Jace. He's gonna have to play this one pretty passive. Thomas gonna flash, still taking the flea here. Can Jace get a single point of damage into this catch? The answer is looking like a no, and now Thomas is maybe turning for a 1v2 here. That's just what has to come up, but he's taking a lot of creep damage here. They're going deep. Wayne flashes up, but Bestis does secure the kill. An awkward gank is going to be pulled off, but on the other side, Dario is taking the dragon.
Yeah, Thunder getting a little bit too big for his riches. It looked really close, but honestly, as long as my wing has flash in there, he's completely fine.
Yeah, and Tizzy did go scope out Dario on the dragon, and with Renai having a lot of control in the mid lane, that was enough to scare him off of doing, so no punishment for that gank top.
Huge win is he didn't even have 6 there, so my wing gonna be able to farm up for the to get that level 6 and look anywhere. Even like revisit if he wants. This Jace really needed that gank to go well. So very good for them.
That does so much to slow down his man. Blab, he is just so good on knowing like he's not gonna get a kill here, but it's gonna create so much pressure in the lane ults.
God, Phoenix just half health. What is he? He's not able to come back here. He's gonna be able to pot up and try his best, but
watch out for Wang. Yep, as I said, arrow's gonna come through right on a tree. A tree does not have a chance in hell at that one. A useless rocket coming out of the Jinx. Not gonna make any damage sticking. That's a 2-0 on Respect.
Yeah, really good combination. That's exactly what we called out before. The Ash Arrow plus Nocturnal.
Dizzy flashes?
He tried. Really
she did try. I was gonna say before that fight broke out, Tizzy was level 4 and Respect was level 6. I don't even know what happened in bot for there to be that big of a disparity. But all's well that ends well because it was a free gank for Wang, and that's why people pick Ash Nocturne.
True, it's very true. It's very painful to play against. Ooh, Thunder looking to be a little bit cheeky, tanking some power shots, but
he don't give a fuck.
It's the old
man catch taking you down to the river, but you're still getting slow there somewhere. You gotta run to. Here comes the jump, and this is an awkward chase through, but now Tom is gonna fucking kill him. Thank you. Another kill for the top laner.
Yeah, he kind of corralled him away from his turret there. With the W behind, it was very well played out of him. And just very awkward. You don't want to be that close to the catfish.
Yo, Zach in chat with a good point. Like, was that an accidental pick of Jace? Like, did he get random that champ? Production, can we get a replay on that draft to confirm that didn't happen?
Vestus, I know Vestus, he loves looking at what's good right now in the top lane, and even if he doesn't play it, he trusts himself enough to play what's strong. It's definitely not an SBL type champion. I think it's going to be really hard for him to pull off here, but
Well, like, Jace is really a champ that, like, if you're behind, is, like, kind of one of the most useless champs in the game, I feel.
Yeah, definitely not great. He's kind of trying to do what like Ziggs and Zyra tried to do to us in the first game, and like zoning off, getting a lot of poke before the fights, and right now it's kind of hard to see how he can do that.
By the way, it was a 2-level lead in the. Oh no, that was Dario, wasn't it? Never mind. Yeah, I'm curious to see. Jace really can't afford to have any more bleeding in this lane. I mean, I can definitely see it working where it's like you get an Ash Nocturne going deep and you just get a massive EQ. But if you don't get to items, then like your EQ is not massive.
Yeah, and definitely that like the common surprise pick really working out for him here.
See here, Dario making it towards the bot lane. I don't know if they're going to do a whole lot here, although Respect is definitely respecting it. As once again in the top lane, here goes Thomas.
The Q actually missing, maybe saving Ves's life as he doesn't have flash, and the eat is up. He could have gotten him probably if he really wanted to. He's sparing him this time.
And this is the kind of game that I think we wanted to see Thunder have. You know, this was maybe actually he takes a big trade there. That was he missed like every single move.
Yeah, and we just saw Tizzy's ulti and Ash ulti going through. Didn't see it. It didn't look like they had the flash or anything, but that's huge. 2 huge cooldowns for the bot lane. Gone. So they're not going to be able to do anything for 6 years. Thunder's got to flash away.
Yeah, that's really big. Thunder was giga greeting there instead of just taking a recall to get his health back. And it cost him the most valuable cooldown in the game. Now, I was just about to make this rant about how, like, this is the game that if you're Thunder, Conti, if you're supposed to be the best top laner in the SBL, like, this is really the game where you can put a stamp on the season. You can go up against Bestus, who's, like, the one guy that everyone would think would give you a run for that title, and you could beat him into the ground like this. And then he goes and does that, and now I have trust issues. I don't like top laners. This is what they do, man. You get your hopes up, and then they screw up.
And that's just how it goes sometimes.
I'm gonna pitch this one for League Classic. It's only 2 lanes. It's a 4v4 game.
Yeah, you know.
But like you queue up 5v5, it's just
On is go.
one person gets like tossed on Howling Abyss, and you spend the entire game in jail, not interacting with your team. But interacting with the team is going to be no, that flash tree. Oh
No. That was the saddest flash.
I think
ever.
Phoenix
The
dies
amount
here.
of panic.
Or at least has to pop his barrier, loses almost all of his health. As, you know, I was talking earlier about how, we'll see, Dario wants to go here, and they actually get Tizzy to take a ton of damage there, mostly by her own fault, but she is able to flash out, take the heal.
I wanted to say about this Victor Vel'Koz matchup, I don't think it should be nearly as bad as it's feeling, because Phoenix's ult can literally stop the channel from the Vel'Koz ult. He just hasn't used it. He's not using it defensively at all, or offensively. He's just kind of letting everything happen to him and trying to run away. Speaking of running away,
I'm being offended by this Jace play right now. Oh man, just hit the taunt. Hit the damn taunt. You're right on top of him.
yeah, it's...
So this is going to be a second dragon of the game over to WAB. As we're about 2,500 gold is the lead for WAB. We'll see if they can close this one out. Obviously, at some point Thomas will interact with the map, and he's getting pretty big up top.
Yeah, I remember last time he was on Thomas, he actually had a pretty sizable lead as well, but they weren't able to close that one out against you guys, I believe. If you're the only team they haven't won against. We'll have to see if he can make a much bigger impact than the last game.
Yeah, here we go. Once again, this Nocturne ult on cooldown. Ash did whiff the arrow there, I think, though. So that is going to save Phoenix's life, but not save him his flash.
I'm not sure who's calling for that play in mid, but I personally kind of hate it. Whenever you have Xmas Tree and no flash, we just saw him fail flash. I mean, okay, it makes me look like an idiot when Vlad just does this to him.
See,
but,
this is what you do, Cal. You don't think ballsy enough.
Of course.
Small balls shot caller over here. But my Wang, you don't get to name yourself after you Johnson without having a big sack underneath it. And my Wang is going for the big ults.
Oh, for sure. And he gets the flash immediately. Blab's like, thanks, I'll get the kill.
that's called a team play, Cal. The other teams make them.
Of course, of course.
And I've been trying to get back to this point for like 5 minutes now, but what's worked for Power Tops in their wins is they've turned all of the games into Return to Monkey games. And autofill is just like, what if we don't return to Monkey? What if we just like make the smart plays around where we have the power? And as I say that, like Wang, I mean, he doesn't commit that much there, but he kind of goes for a silly dive onto a Thomas that has like all of his health. But so far, like, that's really the story of this game, is that Power Tops hasn't been able to turn this into a monkey game. We'll see, can that change here? Dio Chapman does not have a lot of health, and Thundercomp gonna have to save him. As there goes Enchant the Crystal Arrow, gonna land onto the Jinx, but that's a lot of damage. Chizzy went too deep there. She takes a bunch of tower shots. That's going to cost her life, but it's a 1-for-1 for now, and it is not gonna be a 1-for-2. Tree walks out with a sliver of health.
It's really the perfect Zyro ulti to give as much time as possible for Darkin to put out some damage. If he would have killed a...
Phoenix! He could have walked backwards. Why did he take the forward? He could. Oh, Phoenix! You could have walked behind them. You would have died.
This is very painful. But at least in the meanwhile, Renai Circulation taking that mid-lane straight, pushing it all the way, is giving even more power as they're gonna even.
He's gonna get collapsed on here though. As he does have a flash. We'll see if he has to use it. Phoenix plays. He knew what he was doing before. Not going deep. He was saving it for here.
I want to see a flash tongue so bad, and then just miss. That's my dream of what could happen right now.
Come on, Jinx, shoot the rocket. Shoot the rocket, Jinx. I'm watching on this mini-map, but I'm not seeing it.
He's a little bit... He's thinking too much, because he sees Vlad putting a pink ward here. Kind of is telling Darkin that he's there, but...
So this will be a fairly late Rift Hail going over to Power Top, so we'll see. Can they use this to get something rolling? You gotta think there's a potential here for a big, like, somewhere in Thomas's lane, wherever he is, with the Rift Herald. To maybe make a big play to get back in this game, but before that can happen, there is no flash on this Jinx, there is no heal on the Jinx, and there is no health on this Jinx. 4th kill of the game for Respect.
Very painful. You just have to be all the way under your turret if that's there, but
Tizzy with the beautiful footwork to dodge that snare.
well played by her, keeping herself alive. Free is pissed. Funny enough, the little lab walking over, he actually managed to get the Gale Force out of Darkin. So if Darkin had Gale Force there on that Ash Hero, maybe he lives. It's just little things like that. Keep on piling up 4 power tops here. They bleed some more gold.
It's a game of inches sometimes. By the way, shout out to Bestless One, who's really equalized this massive deficit. The CS gap basically hasn't changed in the last, like, 15 minutes. Let's see, this would be a 3rd dragon, and fairly early for a 3rd dragon for WAB. This is going to be spawning in about 5 seconds here. They will be a little late into the pit, but Phoenix Blaze is still in his base. Top laners both have their teleports available. I think we're going to just see some posturing here for a bit. This is a scary situation if you're power tops, because Vel'Koz currently has control of the river. I think the fastest one maybe should commit the teleport on the early side here. Blab, they is waiting to be seen by the Victor. But no, this is all too little too late here. There's going to be the snare onto the Shotman. Now a Maokai also going to come through. This is going to be pretty big. But Maokai's going to lose his life kind of early in this one, but it does not matter worth a damn. Vel'Koz puts out the full rotation onto the entirety of Power Top. Phoenix Blaze going to flash and still lose his life. And that, there is an solo kill in the top lane. And I don't know if Jace is losing anymore. 1 for 5 ace for the wet ass Boosie.
Funny enough, talking about this, Jace, maybe the most powerful part about it is it's keeping the Thomas away from the rest of the team, as they just get caught out in all of that AoE there. Really great ulti combinations out of an isolation, out of Pissy. They just all piled on and they couldn't stand the heat.
So, Cal, you're a bit of a strategic League of Legends player, I would say.
Okay.
Would you agree?
Sometimes.
Okay,
but
that rounds up to yes. So imagine playing against a team that can only play 1 champion well. Okay, could you just imagine that?
Okay.
Now just imagine giving them that champion. Why?
So which one are you talking about? Are we talking about Vel'Koz? Are we talking
We're talking about
Nocturne?
Vel'Koz. Yeah, we're talking about Vel'Koz.
Okay. On his, that's really hard because when yes, he's doing a lot on it, but I could see him doing the same thing on a Lissandra, just in a little bit of a different angle. I've seen a lot of teams struggle with it, so it's not necessarily. I don't necessarily see it as the worst thing ever, especially when Phoenix.
Poor Darkin. Welcome to the pre-made. He's gonna flash out. He's gonna heal. He is still going to die. My friend, this is pre-made League of Legends, and you are currently 1 in 5 in it.
Yeah, he actually could have lived maybe if he remembered about his Gale Force.
This is why I say if you're not at least a gold player, you should never build Gale Force, because you will forget it like enough times for it not to have been worth.
Remember, we were talking about wanting to use that Rift Herald, get back into this game, put it where the Thomas is. It's just, it was right there. It's gone. I don't know if he accidentally put it down or the timer was just too low, but
yeah, this is really turning. This is turning into a really clean game here for WAB. They've neutralized really the 1 point of concern we had early, which was the Thomas getting big. That is not happening. Tree is at any point liable to get 100 to 0'd by like a stray Q or maybe walking into like the Wraith's pit. But this is going to be a Baron start. Dario's currently on the far side of the map. Renai does clear out the vision, although he is standing on a ward. Now he's going to see it at the last second here, but I don't think anyone gets here in time to steal this. Jinx does have a rocket available, so keep an eye out for that. Dario, as actually new, this is actually going kind of slow. And now the Jinx rocket, that's going to be a little too early, but Wang is very low here. He does secure the Baron. and no one will be able to get in there to contest afterwards.
As it shows, a really good call from them, just recognizing their power, the fact that they can just burn it down, and just having WAB zone on the side means that there's no chance for the left side to come back. This gold lead up to 9,000. It's getting more and more painful, and we're gonna see some more enemies going down.
I really like the timing on this Baron too. They secured it about 2 minutes before the dragon spawn, so that gives them a bunch of time to set up here, do some initial Baron sieging, and then they don't have to be super committal here. They can take the dragon on the way out, and they're going to have complete control of this side of the map. And Blab, he is playing this very aggressively here, but, I mean, what is he scared of catching him? Oh, Darkin is the one that should be scared of being caught, because yet again, the man gets caught by the enchanted crystal arrow. Nocturne does go a little too deep. And that actually is kind of big, because that means there's no smite available. Well, I guess Dragon spawns after him, so.
Yeah, it ends up being a 2-for-1. But it does kind of force the blue side to be a little bit more worried about sieging, at least in the bot lane.
Yeah, but fortunately for them, Best one, making the smart play on the top side, just takes that tier 2, and they're getting good damage on this that is going to stick here. Tier 3 goes down, and now 20 seconds on this dragon. They may not crack the inhibitors here. They may go secure their free soul. They're actually going to take some recalls. Okay. I wouldn't have done that. But I'm not in this game. And I'm only the 1 seed, so what would I know?
You know, I don't hate it. I think getting a...
No, I'm overreacting here for commentary purposes. They're a fucking 12,000 gold, man. They don't need to do anything that's even like remotely sketchy.
Yeah, I mean, Blab is literally using the Hex to get forwards into their blue side, just trying to go for a 1v4. Like, realistically, right now, that's their chance, is them being over-aggressive. They need to try to be finding ticks, find them when they're not all together, but they might be getting ticked on.
I think Risquack tossed his Enchanted Crystal arrows down. I think he chucked another arrow onto Darkin because Darkin had like no health there. We'll see here though. If Thunder can get on the Renai, the answer is looking like a no. And now it's going to be a defensive flash Nocturne. Ha ha ha. In Renai circulation with his 5th kill of the game. This is looking like it is going to be a clean closeout here. This team has not given up a single tower. They have not given up a single dragon. And it's looking like Wet Ass Bussy is going to end the season hot.
Thunder trying to make a hero play, but that Catfish has 0 MR. He just gets shredded by the true damage from Renai. Tree's getting chased now. This is so... really,
and, you know,
painful.
I want to shout out everyone in chat's probably like, oh, the winner here is, you know, it's Wet Ass Bussy. But the real winner here is Dubdrum, who's about to get his first 2-in-1 week of the season. And one last time, this bot lane must suffer at the hands of Respect. 6-1 on Respect, 6-0 on Renai circulation. The 2 carries come through, and they are going to play this one out just a little longer for the sake of their KDAs. As they are maybe actually in some danger of losing this one. Renai is going to get a lot of damage on the back line here. No, they're playing this out for the KDA race. Darkin is going to have his 7th humiliation of the game. And that is for that. That is going to be a Nexus. Please, my friends, end this game while I'm in caster tempo. And that is a GG for the WAB.
Well played. They played their comp out. They played their ults and just really finished out very cleanly. No towers taken. I mean, you can't ask for much better.
No, that was a super hot game. And like I said, all season long power tops have been getting teams to return to Monkey when they beat them. And when teams just play clean League of Legends, they lose, and they don't have a whole lot going for them in the process. And Power Tops is going to walk into the playoffs with a lot of questions to answer, I think. But that is going to do it for now, which means our regular season is done. All of our matches have been played. And now we will have a lot to break down on the Baddie Breakdown. So, folks, stick around. We'll be back soon with everyone's favorite post-game shit show, Baddie Breakdown. So stay tuned.